Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for choosing our show today. Ladies and gentlemen, the united opposition in the country continues to give William Ruto sleepless nights because the government is burning the midnight oil to ensure that the opposition is disintegrated. But instead of going their separate ways, they have made a major announcement because they had a meeting today and they have realized that there is a need to have a joint opposition secretariat. Not only did they create that secretariat, but they have appointed none other than Daktari Mukhisa Kituyi to lead that office. Now I want us to go straight to Rigathi Gachagua, of course, Eugene, Martha Karua, all of them wrote this on their Twitter handle or X handle that the united opposition has appointed Honorable Dr. Mukhisa Kituyi as their spokesperson and the head of the opposition secretariat, begging the question, why does the opposition feel that they need a single secretariat? What has informed that decision? Because we all know that there is the Kalonzo Command Center. Nyoro has been a beehive of activities. Martha Karua, these are affiliate parties that have got their own offices and their own secretariat. But they have decided that moving forward, as we approach faster than we can imagine, 2027, there is need to have what I may call command center. We will look at that. And then the other question that we want to try and answer, why Mukhisa Kituyi? Because the united opposition leaders, as Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, I would think of Governor Natembeya, Martha Karua, we have them, the former Attorney General, J.B. Muturi, several of them. But after several deliberations, they decided that in this very prestigious office, none befits it other than Honorable Dr. Mukhisa Kituyi. So allow me to try and delve into this, why the need and a very imperative need for this office and why Mukhisa Kituyi. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching us for the first time. Click the notification bell and please like and share our videos. Ladies and gentlemen, why Mukhisa Kituyi? Mukhisa Kituyi is a man who is learned and very eloquent. He's got both local and international experience. But more so, allow me to read this for you. Mukhisa has got a wealth of international experience, having worked at the United Nations. Let me read for you. Mukhisa Kituyi worked for the United Nations as the Secretary General. Listen to that. Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. That's a very prestigious position. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development from September 2013 to February 2021. That's a whopping like 6 years or so. In his role, he focused on helping developing countries, promoting sustainable development, and facilitating international discussions on trade and development issues. He was a kind of a link between developing nations and the international community on how they can benefit on trade and tariffs and lift them. So that tells you that number one, Mukhisa has got a wealth of experience. He's got international connections because having worked at the United Nations, I believe they were sitting together with the United Nations Secretary General because UN has got several, branches, security, trade, weather, all that. So as they submit their reports, Mukhisa Kituyi also made connections and he's got friends. Why is this very important to the Rigathi team? In every presidential election, there are interests. both international and local interest. There are people in this country who will ensure that the moment, for example, in the last election, they will give Raila some money to campaign. Wanamwambia, we have given you this campaign with, pia wanapatia William Ruto. Wanatega. So whoever wins, they will stand in solidarity. They shall have made some rapport. At the international community level, especially the USA and Britain, they have interest, political, trade, and security interests. So they always influence our elections. That is why Meg Whitman, the immediate former ambassador, US ambassador to Kenya, pitched camp in Bomas during verification and tallying of our results, and she later said that that was the freest election ever. So Mukhisa Kituyi will be able to try and articulate why they want to oust William Ruto. They will try to take advantage of Ruto's entry to, William Ruto has messed up his international relations, and perhaps we are wondering the foreign policy of the UDA government is something that is really wanting. Ruto has been linked to some rebel groups, so the person will be able to package the united opposition in a nice way and explain their policies, why they need to run the economy and socioeconomic, ventures of the country, is Mukhisa Kituyi. It reminds me of how William Ruto appointed people like Ndi when they were going to articulate matters on bottom-up economy. So Mukhisa Kituyi will be able to do that. In every election, there's a lot of money that is needed, and part of this money is donated by those who have got interest, businessmen at the international level. But they need someone who is able to explain to them why they should be given this money, whether their money is safe. And you can't just set your foot in the US or Britain and people start following you to beg you to have this money. You need to have someone who's got the connections. And Mukhisa Kituyi fits there because he made inroads, he made friends. So it's very easy compared to Rigathi and Kalonzo and all that. That's why I believe they chose him. And as we also said, Mukhisa is eloquent. Number 3, should there be any controversy after the elections and the superpowers have sent their representatives and they want to know why there is acrimony in the country, Mukhisa Kituyi is respected. They will be able to contact him. And let me tell you, they will contact him before, during, and after the elections because he's now a respected man. He has sat together with the big names at the United Nations level. So actually, he befits that position. Now, let me try and, or let us try together, try to answer why the need of a single secretariat. And I believe the united opposition wants to show Kenyans that they are organized. They want to avert any kind of confusion, and they want to bring order and sanity, I call it, in their part. So that when there is something, you all know that the only person who is mandated to talk on their behalf will be Mukhisa Kituyi. So that Eugene, Martha Karua, Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, when people relay the same message, different people, some meaning will be lost. Mwingine ataongea pale anaongea na hasira, mwingine anaongea hivi anaongezea kingine. But when you have one command center, one spokesperson, then the information that is relayed is one. If you want to check that whether the resolution has been made, you check what Mukhisa Kituyi has said. And when you see a particular organization having a very smart and organized secretariat, then you know what they mean. They mean business and they're serious about it. They also want to show the government and their supporters that they're indeed serious and there is a level of unity. Because as I said earlier, the government has tried to scuttle their agenda and to separate them, to go as individual partners. But they are showing the government that when you think we are going to disintegrate into our individual parties, we are so much united that we have appointed Mukhisa Kituyi to be our spokesperson. Even their supporters will look at them and say, okay, these people are very serious. And I believe Mukhisa Kituyi is going to lead the campaigns. That's why we're looking for someone who can sit down with the international partners, can convince and persuade them. Number three, there is a level in which this team is showing the lawyer community just how much they value and hold them in high and great esteem. That is always what happens in politics. Before people vote, they always look at the position that their sons or daughters have been given. So they look at that opposition and they say, okay, Eugene is there, we've got Natembea, and now Mukhisa Kituyi is the one who has been recognized to head the United Opposition Secretariat. And to them, that will be a plus. So when they move and they start the campaigns, Mukhisa will be seen as a person who is almost their head. And I think when they look at it, they will be very happy and they will have a reason to vote for the opposition. Why? Even before they divide the national cakes and the positions, they already have Mukhisa Kituyi. And I want to say that most likely, if the opposition forms government, Mukhisa Kituyi will most likely be Foreign Affairs Minister, or he will retain the Trade and Industry Ministry because he's got experience in that field. I don't know what you think. Please, share with me. Why do you think they felt there is need to have a joint secretariat rather than their individual, secretariat? And then why Mukhisa Kituyi? Kindly share with me on the comment section.